So we all want a world powered entirely by clean energy, right? It sounds amazing. But, there's always a catch. What happens when the sun isn't shining or the wind just decides not to blow? Well, today we're diving into the technology that's solving that exact puzzle: giant batteries. And I'm not talking about the A's in your TV remote. I'm talking about battery energy storage systems, or BSS. These things are completely rewriting our energy future as we speak. Look, solar panels and wind turbines are fantastic. They are absolute game changers in the fight against climate change. But they have an Achilles heel, and it's a big one. They're not always on. The energy they produce is what we call intermittent, and that creates this huge challenge for our power grid, which needs a perfectly constant, reliable flow of electricity every single second of every single day. So, what do you do?
The answer is actually pretty simple. You just store the extra energy for later. And the technology leading this charge is the battery energy storage system. The best way to think about them is as giant power banks for our cities. They just soak up all that extra energy when it's plentiful and then release it exactly when we need it most. It's a simple idea, but it is fundamentally transforming our entire energy landscape.
To really get the picture here, you have to see these battery systems as the missing piece of the whole renewable energy puzzle. Seriously, they are the key that finally unlocks a 100% clean energy grid.
Our electric grid is this incredibly delicate balancing act. Supply has to meet demand instantly. For 100 years, we did this by just burning more or less fuel. But with renewables, you can't just turn up the sun, right? That variability is a huge headache for grid operators who need that stable, consistent supply of power. So what exactly is a BESS? It's basically a three-step dance. First, it captures energy when it's abundant and cheap, like from solar panels at high noon. Second, it stores that energy really efficiently. And third, it releases it back to the grid exactly when we need it, say in the evening when everyone gets home and turns on their lights. It really is a giant power bank, but instead of charging your phone, it's powering whole communities.
And listen, this isn't some niche experimental technology anymore. We are smack in the middle of a massive global boom. The scale and speed of this industry's growth is, well, it's just staggering. Just look at this number, a projected 76% year-over-year growth in new battery installations for 2025. You have to understand, in the world of big energy infrastructure, that's not just growth. That is a full-blown explosion. We rarely see this kind of rapid expansion in any industry. And of course, where there's that kind of growth, there's money. A lot of it. The global market for these systems is expected to hit over $32 billion in 2025 alone. So yeah, this isn't just an environmental shift, it's a colossal economic one too. And this chart really shows the scale of the transformation we're in. By 2030, our global battery capacity is set to increase more than 12-fold from where it is in 2024. Let that sink in, a 12x increase in just a few years. We're not just tweaking the system, we're talking about a complete reimagining of our energy infrastructure from the ground up. Okay, so we get it. This thing is booming. But what's the actual tech that's driving it? Let's pop the hood for a second and see what really makes these systems tick. Right now, the undisputed king of battery chemistry is lithium-ion, specifically a type called lithium iron phosphate, or LFP. It absolutely dominates the market, over 98%, for a few really good reasons. It's proven, it's reliable, and the costs have been just plummeting. I mean, they dropped a whopping 20% in 2024 alone. Plus, these things are tough. They're capable of thousands and thousands of charge and discharge cycles. But as great as lithium-ion is, it's really just the beginning of the story. It's perfect for storing energy for a few hours. But what happens when a storm system just parks itself over a city for 3 straight days? Well, that's where the next wave of battery tech comes in. Scientists are cooking up all kinds of new chemistries that can store energy for 8 hours, or even for multiple days, and they often use more common and abundant materials. And here are 2 super exciting examples of what's coming next. On the left, you've got a vanadium flow battery. It uses these big tanks of liquid electrolyte to store energy. The cool part? The bigger the tanks, the more energy you can store. It's that simple. And on the right is an iron-air battery, which basically breathes air to create a charge by, get this, rusting and unrusting tiny iron pellets. It's wild. These are the kinds of innovations we need for a truly resilient 100% renewable grid. So we have the technology, and it's absolutely booming. But where is this revolution actually happening?
Let's zoom out a bit and see who the key players are on the world stage. Battery storage is definitely a global thing. You've got projects popping up everywhere, from North America to Europe to Australia. But if you look a little closer at the map, you can see that the rollout isn't exactly even. One region is moving way faster than everyone else. And the numbers here are just wow. By 2025, China is projected to have almost 134 gigawatts of battery capacity. Now, to put that into perspective, that's more than the United States and Australia, the next two biggest players combined, with plenty to spare. It's a level of deployment that is totally reshaping the global energy map. So here's the bottom line. China isn't just a leader in this space, it's the dominant force, period. They account for about 2/3 of the entire global market. This incredible scale is really driven by strong government policies. They require new solar and wind farms to be built with storage, and of course, their immense manufacturing power. And that has huge implications for the global supply chain and the pace of innovation for everyone else. So we've got this massive, rapidly growing technology, but what does it actually let us do? Well, in this final section, let's explore how battery storage is unlocking a whole new set of possibilities for our energy future. We're talking about ideas that go way beyond just replacing old power plants. Okay, check out this idea, a virtual power plant. Imagine thousands of home batteries, like the ones that might be in your neighbor's garage, all connected and coordinated by some really smart software. When they act together, they can function like a single, massive power plant, helping to stabilize the grid when it needs it the most. This totally flips the old model on its head, turning energy consumers into energy providers. And what about sustainability? This is where it gets really clever, with the idea of a second life for batteries. So an EV battery that's maybe not powerful enough for a car anymore can be taken out, repurposed, and used in one of these stationary storage systems for another 7 to 10 years. This is the circular economy in action, and it dramatically reduces waste and squeezes every last drop of value out of these resources. And finally, BESS is what we call a critical enabler for other green technologies, especially green hydrogen. See, making hydrogen from renewables requires a perfectly constant, stable flow of electricity. Batteries provide that stability. They store up all that excess solar and wind power so the machines that make hydrogen, the electrolyzers, can run around the clock. Without big batteries, scaling up green hydrogen would be pretty much impossible. So from stabilizing our grid, to creating a circular economy, to unlocking brand new clean fuels, it's pretty clear that battery storage isn't just another piece of the puzzle. It is the technology that makes a truly renewable future actually possible. The old energy rulebook is literally being rewritten in real time. We've seen how this technology is changing our world right now, but honestly, the most exciting part is thinking about what it will enable tomorrow. So the question we're left with is, what are we going to build with all this newfound power?